Superman, 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 the man with a miracle muscle. Superman, 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 his blood is one big red corpuscle. Superman, 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 he flies through the air like one.
Okay, Uncle Roddus back again. How you going, folks? Video time, vinyl video. A few things have been floating in. You know, things are quieting down a wee bit. But there's been a lot happening on Trade Me, a lot. Missed out on a few purchases, but snagged a few. There is a couple of people at the moment selling a heap load of New Zealand stuff, rare New Zealand stuff on Trade Me. You know, there's a guy down south who's been buying up a lot of New Zealand stuff over the last few years, and he's paying huge prices. He's really fucking it up for everyone else by buying and bidding and just not letting, I don't know, just really overbidding. He doesn't always win them, to be honest, so it's not just him. But anyway, now he's selling some of the stuff off through his wife's account, apparently, anyway. And some of the prices have been pretty ridiculous. But I got one off him. I did buy one off him, and the price was pretty good. And I don't buy 7 inches very often, but this one here, Flying Nun. This is a Flying Nun record from 1984. What number it is? The Expendables, or Expendables. They became the Expendables later on, and I think this is their first record. Now Jay Clarkson, these are from Christchurch. There's Jay Clarkson, the lead singer and guitar. She was in the Playthings, who are one of my all-time favourite Christchurch bands next to the Gordons. And after they put out 2 singles and a live album, none of which I have, really hard to get. And she went on to the Expendables. Now this could possibly be their very first single. Now Flying Nun 25, that's the one. So the 25th release on Flying Nun. So the Flower is side A, but this is one of those ones where the side B is the fast superior song. Now the Flower is a friggin' excellent song, but The Man With No Desire is absolutely a New Zealand classic, and I saw her do it live not that long ago. She's still active in the scene in New Zealand. Put out a solo record a few years ago, which is kind of more folksy nowadays. I mean, this is going back 35 plus years ago. I do have that record. I picked it up, that folksy thing she did. But I did see her play live at quite a while back now, about 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. She played with, I think most of the guys were in her last band. I can't remember the name of her last band. Anyway, they played a cross section of music from her, right from her new stuff right through back to this sort of stuff. I don't think they played any Plaything songs, but they played some stuff off this. They played this B-side to this, and I think they played The Boy with the Soft Hands, or whatever it's called, which is on his debut record, which is also an absolute stunning song. So, as I say, I don't buy many of these sort of things, but this one here I've been looking for a long time. Got it for a pretty good price, so I'm really happy. And speaking of New Zealand grails, playing in the background is this beautiful record here. Now, I've been after this for ages. Now, Blurter, a lot of international people are probably familiar with Flight of the Conchords. They're sort of multimedia. Multimedia. They're a comedy show, but they're on television, all sorts of stuff. Well, these guys did something similar. They had a TV program where they made a bunch of skits and things, and some of it put to music. And they also did a touring, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, troupe. A touring troupe of musicians and actors that went around doing shows. They were even playing schools, high schools and stuff back in the day. This is from the 1970s. And they were travelling around in a bus, which is probably what that thing there is based on. This is their first LP, I think. Yeah, this is they put out a few tracks on a live record, which is a combo record, but this is their first LP from 1975, recorded in 1974, and it's jazzy, proggy, poppy, arty. First half of this is kind of a concept LP of side one. Paid 3 figures for it. This is actually there's 2 versions. This got released in New Zealand. I'm not sure if this might be a reissue per se, but the second version was put out via World Record Club here in New Zealand. But originally it was released on HMV. This was distributed by EMI. Awesome record. I was kind of, it was on Trade Me, and I was kind of I put in a bid. They had both of the records up for sale. The other one went for nearly $300, so I was way out of that. I put in a bid, my top bid for that, and left it and sat there, and I soon got surpassed. And then the same guy surpassed me on this one, but this was a bit lower price, and I thought, oh, you bastard, I don't want to let it get away. So I put in another bid, and kind of like it sat there for most of the week. Actually, it was really cool, and but I was kind of thinking, oh, do I really want to pay that much? And I was kind of actually hoping there was 50 people watching. I was kind of hoping they were going to outbid me, but they didn't. So yeah, it did cost me a bit, but I'm actually quite pleased that it's here, because it is a very, very good LP. Right, so from something like 50 years old to something that's nearly brand new. This one here came out late last year. I'm not sure when it was actually recorded and released on Bandcamp, but the actual vinyl version came out late last year. Now this is a double LP by a band called Pull Down the Sun, and the record's called Of Valley and Mountains. As you can see, it's really cool artwork on it. If we open it right up, very, very cool. So I got this off their Bandcamp page, because obviously it hadn't turned up anywhere else that I'd seen. But and it's on this white vinyl, double LP white vinyl. I had this on my list of bookmarks on my computer, so I had been slightly aware of it, but I hadn't really had a chance to look at it. And then a friend kind of sent me the link again to it, and it reminded me about it, and I had a listen to it. He was really enjoying it, so I thought, I better have another listen to that. And sure enough, it's really good. It's post-rock, heavy metal, heavy post-rock sort of, although there were vocals and things on it. Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. It's a bloody great record. Up there with bands like Into Orbit and Jacob and bands like that. Another friend mentioned on Facebook that he'd seen them live, and that was really, really good live, so hopefully they might come down here and play at some stage. So yeah, really, really impressed to get that. That was a good score. So that turned up just this week. And then finally, there's 2 more, which are non-New Zealand. No, sorry, one more, a New Zealand one. This is another Trade Me purchase. Actually, I got it off the same seller that sold me the Blurter record. Unrestful Movements. So this is their first EP. So this is 5 tracks from around about 1982. Now they put 2 EPs out back in the day, and I have got the second one, and I had it originally. So we got onto them for a song called Anti-Trend, which was on like the local video show back in the day, Radio Pictures. I'm pretty sure I saw it on there, and I may have heard it on student radio. Cool song, and I'm pretty sure I had a copy of that EP maybe back in the day, but I'm not 100% sure. And then completely had forgotten all about it, and then one day I was perusing, or it popped up on the YouTube feed or something like that, and had listened to it. Oh wow, yeah, I remember that song. Very dark, post-punky kind of, really cool, interesting music. And I managed to pick up a copy of the EP for a reasonable price, and then this one cropped up. I've been looking for this one for a while to complete the set, because they were reissued on a CD, both of them, plus some other stuff, but even that's not that easy to find. So yeah, pleased to get that too. Complete my little set of those. Right, now the other video, I think the last video or the video before, which I haven't actually posted yet, I showed a record by this band, Shabaka and the Ancestors, as in, that's, what's his name, Shabaka Hutchings? Yes, Shabaka Hutchings. He's kind of like the leader. He's got like about 3 bands going, plus he plays with a lot of other people. Now this, I think, was their first LP. Yes, 2016. This is a double LP. Gatefold again. There's a lot of music on here. They're quite long tracks, and it's really cool. Again, up to the minute, fantastic contemporary 21st century jazz. Really, really good. Like their other record, brilliant. Yeah, really, really pleased to have that. So that completes both of the records that they've released, because they released one last year as well. With a similar sort of all black cover. And then finally, also from Shabaka Hutchings, one of his other bands, the Sons of Kemet, Back to the Future, and this is their latest record. They have something like their 4th LP, and this is really cool because it's also like the other the later albums that these guys put out is on Impulse Records. So this one's not. This is on Brownswood Recordings or something like that. This one here is on Impulse. So he's had 2 of these records come out on Impulse, which is really cool. It's really good to see Impulse still around and still releasing awesome jazz like they always have done. Gatefold record. So yeah, there are obviously similarities between these 2 bands, but also differences. This one's more jazzy, but this one's definitely jazzy too. But this is the more jazzier one. This one has a little bit more different influences, but it's quite hard to pin down. Actually, the only problem I had with this is that it's got a very, very full-on heavy bass sound, bottom end, and it also it actually overpowers it a little bit. I thought it was sort of like, because there is some quite subtle things on this, but my other slight piss off with this is that like side A is 10 minutes and side B is 11 minutes or 12 minutes. So, I guess it got to be a double because they had slightly too much music to fit on a single, but the side's very short. Whereas this one we're talking 20 minutes a side, almost, or maybe more. This probably could have got put into a double LP with a lot longer sides. I know people go on about having too much music on a record, but then again, a lot of ECMs I got run from 27 to 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, and still sound fantastic if it's done properly. So yeah, but anyway, interesting. That may end up getting back and checking out some of his early stuff from this band. And then he was also involved in a thing called The Comet Is Coming, and I did order one of their records of their last record that came out. Unfortunately, it never showed. They didn't have it and they couldn't get it. They said, it was one of those records I ordered online. They said they had it on their shop, and I had it online. And then when they went to bloody get it, they couldn't get it. They've done that to me a lot recently. I'll probably mention it in every video. So I used the money I got back from that to purchase this one. So that was released earlier this year, and that is a really fantastic record, and that's a short bunch of records. And that's me for today. It is first week of June. So we are now officially right in the depth of winter, really. We had a really big rainstorm last week and lots of flooding around here, and the river up the road burst its banks and took out the end of the runway. There's a little runway in the paddock down there, and they completely took out the end of it, so they were a bit buggered up down there. It's a bit of a mess, but we're all right here. Winter's here, so good time to sit at home and listen to records. All right, catch you next time, people. Happy vinyl hunting.